But this story is about a Nubian people. Okay. The story, I want you to hear and see every word for yourself. Okay. And then I'm going to pause here and there to point out some details that are significant that you shouldn't overlook. Okay, but the most important thing is that you see and read these words and hear these words in detail and put the story together from a Nubian perspective, or what we will call today an Afrocentric perspective. But when we're talking about these people, we're talking about specifically the Nile River Valley people. Okay, and this is established in Genesis 10 before the Tower of Babel story. Okay, so you have a group of people here, which is very important because as at this time where all this talk about Jews and Hebrews and Semitic people and Kemetic people, and there's so much going on. There's a lot of babble going on in this nation, and there's so many different layers and different ways you can relate this story to our reality when it comes to our social relationship to society. All right, and there are allegories to tell a little bit about who we are as people, because we are not fully Kemetic people. Okay, we are semi-Kemetic, but people don't know what the root words and the root reasons for why we say the things we say. We are a society where knowledge was forbidden from us. Okay, like Adam. Okay, this is the year 2022, and our mentality and our mindset and our mind frame is it true in the earth history? No. The earth is older than 2,222 years, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that we're living in a mind frame, an English mind frame, a reality. We have been installed with a operating system from where we think of the world from a specific perspective, and we're taught that we ought not to question that perspective. And then when you question that perspective, you either are canceled from society, because like Adam, who was what we say was in a garden, but we know by definition it was a plantation. You see what I'm saying? Because they were able to hide themselves amongst the trees. Well, generations later, this is Canaan and not Cain. And enmity has been put between the brothers, Cain and Abel. So all of that stuff we discussed in the previous chapters, and I have videos breaking all of that down. But today, I want you to see yourself and your lineage and your history, real world history, right there in your Bible. But I want you to see that you don't see it because you have been told what to think about it. You have been programmed and conditioned to think about the stories from a master's perspective, because we are all taught by a master, a teacher. But there's two different types of teachers. There's a master teacher and there's a slave master. And the slave master is going to teach you, but he's going to teach you enough to be able to serve his own best interest. Right? So he's going to keep you away from certain information that would benefit your own prosperity, your own lineage, your own generational wealth, well-being. So we are a people who, when we wake up in the morning, we say morning as if it's good to mourn. We awake, right? Instead of arise. Okay? The words we say are spells. In Portuguese, they wake up, they say, bom dia, bom dia. You see the vibrations. In Spanish, they say, buenos dias, buenos dias. You see, good day, good day. But in English, we say good morning. And then we go straight into a traffic jam. Road rage, rushing to work, trying to get there to beat the clock. We're treating our bodies as work trucks rather than aircraft. And it's because of the mind frame, right? Everything starts with the mind. So this is the reason why we need to go to the Genesis. This is the reason why Christ said, Alpha, I'm the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, the first and the last, the Genesis, the Revelation. We in the last chapter of Revelation. And this is the reason why it's all being revealed. It's all, the truth is out there. And the people, the enemy is fighting against the truth. Because when the truth comes out, assimilated reality. The simulation theory is a hypothesis that reality could be simulated. For an example, by quantum computer simulation. That's in the modern age. But to a degree indistinguishable from true reality. It could contain conscious minds that may or may not know that they live inside a simulation. This is quite different from the current technology available concept of virtual reality, which is easily distinguished from the experience of actuality. Simulated reality, by contrast, would be hard or impossible to separate from true reality. All right, so there's been much debate over this topic, ranging from philosophical discourse to practical applications in computing. So I read that directly from Wikipedia. But if you think about a simulated reality, and we're thinking in this example with quantum computer simulation, but before technology, before computer, which we have today, is the modern religion, right? Most people are operating, instead of in churches, they're functioning in social media, and the information that they're getting, instead of in the churches or even in universities now, more and more of it is coming from the network, the internet work, right? Which is a virtual reality, okay? Because it is distinguished from reality, but we operate within that reality. So that's a virtual reality, the internet. Whereas religion, for an example, is a spiritual simulated reality, because it's something that has been given to you as an operating system, like a computer operating system, right? But it's been installed, or what they would say indoctrinated, all right? So it's installed inside the mind, and we operate from within that indoctrination, that operating system, all right? So just like in the computer network reality, virtual reality, when if you oppose the popular view, right, what happens to you, right? You are become a outcast, right? So this is the reason why I titled Chapter 1 Simulated Reality, Our Simulated Reality, because we are actually living in a right? A reality. We are conscious, but we are unable to distinguish the difference because we're not looking at real world history. We're looking at history from a processed English perspective, right? Not from a Nubian perspective and not from two sides. So we're not operating like when we think about the constellation of Orion. Okay, we're not saying when we say Orion's belt, we don't think about Sahu, right? Or Sa, which in the Nubian perspective was the father of the gods. So therefore, when we think about the story of Christ, out of Egypt I call my son, we're not piecing this together. All right, we're not piecing together that the son who was being called out of Egypt, right? The fathers of the gods was Nubian, was of a Nubian construct. And because of the intermixing between the bloodlines, which is just a natural human progression as the kingdoms collide, they come together in trade, they come together in marriage, they come together in war and competition. There's many reasons why we come together. But part of what has been told is only a one-sided view. We're like Adam in the garden with only good knowledge, but we don't have both sides, so we're unbalanced. And this is the point of my book. All right, so this story is about a Nubian people living in an English mind frame installed with an operating system or simulated reality, okay? And the enemy, you can call it the enemy if you want, has to do with the enemy, which is fighting against the truth, because when the truth is revealed to the masses, right, the system based upon this deception fails. So that's chapter 1. Stay tuned for chapter 2, which is Kush, the Nubian people